Hey, tarot fans, welcome to Timeless Tarot. I'm Cindy, and this is Saturday Morning Tarot Talk, where we talk about all things tarot, and I do my best to give you my perspective on how I read the cards. Everybody's different. And this is just really my take on them. I have been reading for a very long time without dating myself too much. And so if you find anything that I have to contribute helpful, if you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. That really helps the channel out, new channel. And we're going to be talking about for quite a while, 78 cards anyway. Each individual card. I'm going to start with the Royal Road, the Fool's Journey. And so today is episode 3, and we are actually getting into the individual cards at this point. So this is the first card of the deck, the Fool, which represents the querent. This is you on your journey toward individuation. This is you on your journey through life, through self-development and enlightenment. Not enlightenment in the Buddhist way or Buddhist idea, or at least the Western idea of what the Buddhist idea is, where you know everything and your journey's over and that's it, you float off into the heavens. No, this is a cyclical type of journey. The Fool's Journey begins immediately after it ends, and it never ends because there's always something new to learn. So the Fool, if you follow numerology at all, you can see that it is a 0 card, 0 being potential, pure potential. It is a completely clean slate, whether you've been on planet Earth or in this paradigm or in whatever construct you're in, one time or a billion times, the slate is clear and you're starting fresh. I'll just go through some of the symbolism here. You can see the Fool is a young man about to step off a big cliff. The dog here represents domestication. The dog here is trying to give him a little warning, like, hey, you're about to step off this cliff and you're likely going to fall and it's going to hurt. But you can see that our Fool is looking up at the warm sunshine, feeling all of the warmth of pure potential, and leaving behind the cold mountains and feeling very confident. He's got his little knapsack here. He's traveling light. He's about to fill it, but not quite yet. Right now it's still pretty empty. Red feather in his cap, a little bit of passion. Might not be thinking too much. The white rose there, and also the white on his undershirt is just how naive he is and pure of heart. There's no malice in our upright Fool, and he's about to step off this cliff on the first step of the Fool's journey. And he doesn't realize that what's going to happen is he's going to fall down all the way down that cliff. And then he's going to spend the next 8 cards climbing back up it and learning all the lessons contained in those energies, upright and reverse, from all perspectives, until he becomes the Hermit, which is the 9 card when he's back up at the top of that cliff, having climbed back up, now an old man. So when you pull the Fool card, when you're reading for divination, it's associated strongly with a fresh start, a new beginning, positive potential, bright outlook, but also naivete, not looking where you're going, and general foolishness, but not foolishness in a when it's upright, not foolishness in any kind of negative way. When it's upright, it's foolishness because of a literal lack of experience. You don't know what you don't know until you've experienced it. And this Fool is starting fresh on a brand new journey, having no idea what he's getting into, but all of that positive potential there and the positive outlook is there. So it's a really exciting, fresh card, depending on, actually, there's pretty few circumstances where you could read any kind of negativity in it, because it is just such positive potential. Now, in the reverse, because I do read reversals, not everybody does, but in the reverse, it still represents a new beginning. It still represents a potential. But when it comes to manifestation, because every beginning, every journey that we go on is something that we have as our higher selves manifested for ourselves. So we're doing it to ourselves. We're setting ourselves up. The higher self has the itinerary. The lower self, you and I, as we traverse through this human experience we call life, doesn't have the itinerary. Very rarely can we see much further than the end of the road. And that's by design. That's part of how we learn and how we grow. But a manifestation is pulling from source energy, right? So source energy is like all energies. It has polarity. So the polarity on one side will be abundance, and on the other end will be scarcity. So you have abundance and you have scarcity. I read the cards as I read energies as as coming from one of those two polarities or any point in between. In fact, I read energies as a sphere, whereas if you go super far on one polarity, you'll end up meeting the other polarity. If you think of it as the yin and yang symbols, when we're thinking of just polarities themselves, the white and the black, they look like little fish, are always in movement, in constant movement. And you can see the black has a little white eye and the white side has a little black eye. Those are the seed of the opposite polarity. So when I read a manifestation, or when I'm thinking of a manifestation, I want to try as hard as I can to pull that energy, that manifestation energy, from the side of abundance, because that is a more enjoyable energy for me. When you're pulling from scarcity, you kind of get the hard lessons, and most of us have had enough hard lessons. Thanks very much. We'd like some easy lessons. So the Fool in the upright is the fresh start of a new manifestation that is pulling biased toward the abundant side of source energy. So to me, super positive card. In the reverse, same thing. It is still a potential, still fresh energy, still a new adventure and a new lesson coming in, and a new manifestation coming in, but it isn't functioning to its best and highest, most abundant source energy. I read it as pulling from more of a scarcity. It doesn't mean totally scarcity, but it isn't. It is more on the scarcity side of that source energy manifestation than it would be if it was in the upright. So while I still read the Fool in reverse as 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 being a zero card, being a potential card, I do see it as it can be one of three things. The first thing is it's a more of a scarcity mindset energy manifestation. So that can be a new beginning that is a bit scarier, a new beginning that is more clouded than the abundant. That can be a new beginning that can be reckless. That sometimes people will start off on a new adventure. The Fool being also showing this very clearly. Doesn't have very much in his knapsack, isn't thinking, isn't even watching where he's going. So it may be more of a new adventure that is, at least at the onset, full of positive potential, but also some very, very obvious to others, maybe not obvious to the Fool himself, but obvious to others that they're taking a risk, more risky behavior than just than adventurous behavior. The other thing that I do read when the Fool is in reversal here, it can also be a delay. Sometimes that it isn't just source energy. It isn't just the source energy coming from a scarcity mindset. Sometimes it can be a delay for some reason. There's a blockage or something. So sometimes, if I read the Fool preceding something really good, sometimes I will read that as there's a blockage of some sort. Something needs to be adjusted. Some other lesson, usually because it's I link it with naivete, and in the upright, it's less foolish behavior, more naive behavior. In the reverse, it's more reckless and more foolish behavior. Sometimes I will read that as a block instead of a block on the positive abundance coming in, or that wants to come in, because there's some lesson that has not been fully alchemized and fully understood yet, so that the Fool can move forward and take that take that leap of faith without immediately smashing into something. They might actually get a a less challenging journey on the way down. If I sometimes I think of the Fool dropping off this cliff here as Alice in Wonderland. Does she is she going to go down that rabbit hole, because every new adventure is a new rabbit hole? We're going to learn new things. Is she going to go down that rabbit hole fairly cleanly, with a lot of abundance and a lot of help and a lot of support along the way? Or is she going to go down that rabbit hole and hit every piece of furniture on the way down before she gets to the queen? um so yeah, that's pretty much my take on the Fool. And again, going back to that zero energy, you can think of the Fool also as just pure potential. Take all four aces, combine them, and multiply that energy exponentially, because this is a momentous moment in anybody's life, anybody's day to day. This is a major arcana uh, card. So the aces are minor arcana, so they really are more day to day, whereas the Fool is a brand new overarching journey that you're just about to start on, just like us doing this. So that's what I got for you regarding the Fool. Please put it in the comments if you have any other um, views on it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear how some of you guys read the cards, or some of your thoughts on what I've said, or how you interpret these things. That'd be great. Super helpful for everyone, because this is a discussion, and tarot readers are individuals, and there is a guidebook of sorts, but at the end of the day, we all see the world through our own individual lens. And I'm just sharing really how I look at things, and I'm always learning. So I'm hopeful that I will be learning as much from you as you're learning from me. All right, so that's what I got for you. Next week, we will be on to card number 1 in the deck, which is the Magician. See you then. Cheers.